For years, I carried so much resentment and frankly hate towards the religious community for completely turning their backs on me. You know, I grew up very religious. There was not a day I did not go to church. I went to a Christian school. I got up at 5 a.m. every morning to go to church to pray before school, carried my Bible to school. Everything about my life was religion. And the day I came out, everything was taken away. Everyone who had said they loved me no longer did, you know. Or it was, as Jonathan and I like to talk about, love the sinner but hate the sin. Mm-hmm. You know, oh, I love you, but you're burning in hell, you heathen pedophile. You know, that's what you would hear. And so my whole life, I just heard hate after hate after hate about anyone who was not heterosexual. And I remember just begging and praying for God not to make me gay. And that just didn't happen. And at 15, I ended up running away from home because it was kind of to the point where it was come out or die, because I couldn't wear a mask anymore. I couldn't live one more day of my life without one person on the planet knowing me for who I was. And that's, I think, why the suicide rate is so high in our community, is because you are the loneliest person in the world. And so I left at 15. So I could come out. I moved, you know, to the big city of Springfield, Missouri.
You might laugh. That's a big city.
It is.
Laugh all you want, but that's major. Isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Right across the river from you.
It is.
Totally lost my train of thought. Oh,
but you moved to the big city.
Moved to the big city just to get away, just so I could be who I was, because I had to be me. And it's amazing that I can now get up on stage and be me and be unapologetically me. But going back to that episode, I actually told production I refused to do it. One of the very first things I said to Netflix and ITV when I got cast was, I'll do anything you want, I'll ride a pony, I'll juggle fire, but don't ever ask me to go into a church. And I'm like, that is where I draw the line. I know where I have to draw the line for my own mental health, and that was my line. Mm. And of course, as Karamo said earlier, that was actually the very last episode that we filmed. It was a surprise episode. The person who was supposed to be in that episode had a major health problem and could not film. And our production crew had to, and this is a testament.
You didn't know this?
You didn't know this?
I'm actually not surprised you didn't know that.
Now that I think about what was going on, I get it now too.
You were usually gone on Mondays filming Game of Thrones, so he would miss a lot of production movie. No, So our
fourth piece of shade. One more to go.
Our amazing executive producers frantically found somebody else to cast, and you know, this is a weird, thank God, it was Tammy. But my design crew came to me because, a little secret, my design crew does go out and take measurements and stuff. I need to know a little bit about the space pre-time. There's no way I can do that all like Tuesday. So my design director, he knows me very, very well. He knows how I feel about religion. He grew up in the same time space that I did. He comes back to me and he's like, it's church. It's like, what? And so I went to the exec producers and I was like, so I hear it's a church. And they're like, no, it's a community center. And I'm like, bitch, don't lie to me. I'm like, I grew up in a church. I know what the rec center is next to the church. It's still the church. And I had a come to Jesus moment with them, no pun intended, and I was like, this is not something I'm going to do. I told you from day one, don't put me in this position. If you literally want to see me just break down and maybe never be able to put myself back together, don't do this to me. And after multiple talks with the creator of our show, and it was actually one talk in particular that I had with the director of marketing for Scout Productions, which is the original production company of Queer Eye. He called me and he said to me, he's like, I know that you're probably thinking, oh, I'm not going to go in and going to help an organization or a group of people that you feel does nothing but spread hate. And again, I'm not lumping every Christian into spreading hate. That's not what I'm doing. But from my experience, the pain that I still have on a daily basis when you're a gay person, when you've been taught your whole life to hate gay people, so thus you hate yourself. And that's what all these little kids are going through every single day. They're hating themselves and they're killing themselves because that's what their God is telling them to do. He said, don't do it for the church. Don't do it for Tammy. Do it for all the little Bobbies that are still sitting in those churches. And all the little Joels and the Karamos and the Tans and the Jonathans and the Antonis that are still sitting there with hate being taught to them in hopes that somebody in their church will see this. And one of the most amazing DMs I've ever gotten was from a pastor. And he messaged me and he said, my entire career I was taught that gays are wrong, they're an abomination to God, you're going to hell. And I, in turn, have taught that in my church, not every Sunday, but if that comes up, gays are wrong, they're going to hell. He's like, hearing you talk about how every day of your fucking life you begged God to not make you gay. You pleaded. All you wanted was to think a girl was hot, and it just didn't happen. Hearing you say that made me realize that being gay is not a choice, that you are born that way. He's like, I will never again preach in my church that being gay is wrong.
There you go. There you go.